Welcome to the Retirement with and On Purpose podcast. I'm your host, Trevor Lawson, and this show is all about helping you not just reach retirement, but truly thrive in it. You've put in the work, now let's make sure you can enjoy every moment to the fullest. Today's topic is hopefully very timely, with summer around the corner and vacation top of mind, potentially for many of us as the little ones are getting out of school and potentially the grandkids are going to be home to spend more time with grandma and grandpa. Today, we're going to talk about how much to hypothetically spend on vacation. So I found a very helpful article on the Art of Manliness website, and it was released back in March of 2024, but some of the ideas and principles hold true regardless of the year. And so it starts with some financial experts recommending that we spend between 5 and 10% of our net income on vacation. So net income, again, is after tax. If you're in debt, that number should be closer to the 5% mark. And if not, then it can be closer to the 10% range. And like with a lot of, financial recommendations, it's certainly designed to just serve as a oversimplified guide to help you start thinking about a budget for vacation. Some folks can certainly spend a lot more than 10% of their net income, and some maybe want to think about spending less than 5%. But that 5 to 10% number can at least serve as a starting guide for us when we're planning our vacations. So a couple of suggestions along with that budget are to plan out your whole year. So in January, or however you start planning your trip in June and you plan through next June. Just plan essentially 12 months of vacations in advance so that 5 to 10% net income number can be applied across all of your vacation trips. For some folks, maybe the beach is very important to them, and so carving out a certain amount of income for the beach trip is going to be essential. Some of us are big NFL football fans, and we want to make sure we've carved out an allotted budget for perhaps an away game for our sports team. Thinking about our vacations in this 12-month cycle can ensure that we do apply a budget and ensure that we also fit in all the trips that we want to over the course of that 12-month period. A second helpful tip they provided was considering the season of life you're in. So for those of us, myself included, with small kids, while my wife and I are itching to go overseas, with a 3-year-old daughter, our expectations for everything that we might be able to do on that trip would need to be significantly tampered, knowing that we're traveling with a toddler. So just being sure you consider the season of life you're in. That way, you don't overcommit your travel budget towards, an overseas trip with a toddler that's not going to live up to your expectations. Being mindful of the amount of debt we accrue for a vacation is very important. Again, most financial experts would encourage us not to go into debt for a trip. I tend to support that. However, if it's a very unique time in life, maybe you're celebrating your 10, 20, 30-year wedding anniversary, maybe it's a 50th birthday or 65th birthday. For these milestone events, not necessarily going into debt, but spending more than your allotted budget can be justifiable considering these once-in-a-lifetime events only come around once. The next 2 points this article makes, I think, are the most interesting and the ones that I would encourage us all to sit with. So beware of luxury creep. This is a term I had not heard phrased that way, but makes a lot of sense. So I quote, "Remember that it's much easier to go up in the luxury level of a vacation than it is to come back down. That is, right now you feel a 2-star hotel is perfectly amenable. However, once you stay at a 4-star property, a 2-star hotel will seem like an unacceptable come down. Upgrade to an economy plus seat on the plane, and basic economy, which once felt adequate, now feels more cramped." So luxury creep is an all too real phenomenon and is very easy for it to creep in. If you splurge on that Disney package and you get all the amenities, and it would be very easy if you do that first time around, if you go back to Disney, maybe with your second child or grandchild, for you to feel let down if you don't splurge as much on the next trip. I see the same phenomenon apply to a car purchase. Let's say you go out and for your first or second car, you buy a luxury vehicle, a Mercedes, a BMW. It's a lot harder to go back to driving a Toyota or Honda after you've ridden in a BMW or Mercedes than it would be to progress from the Camry to the Mercedes. So just be aware of the luxury creep, not only when planning your vacations, but also in other areas of your financial life. The second one that they use creep for is entitlement creep. So I quote again, "It's easy to come up with reasons to justify spending big on a vacation. Your job is grinding, you've been real stressed, you feel like you deserve a trip, you need it." This entitlement creep is another very real phenomenon, especially if you're going through a very busy time at work, and or family life is very taxing with kids and grandkids and different sporting events, or camps. This entitlement creep, I really deserve a vacation. I'm not holding back. I'm going to Aruba, and I am going to stay at the nicest hotel, get the best flight, and not hold back. That is a completely understandable line of thinking, perhaps considering the phase of life you're in. But just be aware of that entitlement creep phenomenon. Everyone certainly does deserve a vacation, but when we're thinking about perhaps planning multiple trips over the course of a 12-month period, we just want to be mindful of that entitlement creep so we don't overcommit to one trip and exhaust our travel budget quickly in the year. The last piece of advice this article mentions, which I very much agree with, is while it's important to have a potential vacation budget in mind, it's also important not to be a vacation Scrooge either. The article quotes, "You're investing in closer relationships with your spouse and children potentially, improved mental health, expanded perspective, and lasting memories. Tons of research shows that spending money on experiences makes people happy." And I can validate that research. There's a lot of research out there that shows that. So don't be a vacation Scrooge. The purpose of this podcast episode is just to bring awareness to planning your vacations, give you a hypothetical budget to keep in mind, but at the same time, encourage you to celebrate your accomplishments, celebrate those milestone events, the big birthday, the graduation, the retirement. And remember, again, you're investing in closer relationships with your spouse and children, improved mental health, expanded perspective, and lasting memories. And both personally and professionally, I can't think of a better investment to make than that. Until next time, stay well, get to planning that next adventure, and I'll look forward to connecting again soon. Thanks for tuning in to the Retirement with and On Purpose podcast. I hope you're walking away with new ideas and a fresh perspective on how to make the most of your retirement journey. And remember, retirement isn't the end. It's your time to live with purpose. Until next time, I'm Trevor Lawson. Here's to a fulfilling and thriving retirement.